Hello, and welcome to the stream. I have put a lot more effort into setting this one up than I have the previous few, but oh well. Let's get the music and that ready, and hello, and everything's begun. Oh, and I already noticed I forgot to click that button. There we go. I have multiple windows for this one, because best way of making a UI on the fly that gives all the information you need, many windows in Obsidian. So today's stream I will be walking through making a character for Cartograph and then doing a few cycles, as I refer to them. It's pretty much rounds of play, but Cartograph is normally journaled. It has optional rules for which one lot of them are referred to as non-authoring, which I haven't played with before, but journaling takes a lot of time, so I want to try them out on stream. Over here, and as you can see, I also have a map set up. Now, that I will be rolling on my desk. I have a printout of what you guys can see, and I will be rolling the dice onto it so that I have the locations and the type of location that is there designated. I will be drawing the map onto we're here for you all though, so yeah. Let's get things properly. Oh boy. Everything just suddenly minimized. Oh no. Oh boy. Why did everything suddenly minimize? I don't know what just happened there. And PNG Juba jumped to the wrong screen. What happened? What did... Of course, I'm not overly surprised that technical difficulties happened when I have so many windows open. Okay. Let's bring that over a bit so that I have space for the Obsidian windows. So, here I will be tracking what cycle number we're on, so that this will track the phase. I will untick the one that I'm on. This is the standard starting dice of each type. There are depending on the specialization of the character, that is altered. So that will be needing to be changed. But first, let's start out by getting the character's name. So grabbing 3d6s on my end, because Cartograph is interesting. It's a d6, at least I believe it's primarily d6 only system for rolls. It uses playing cards as well, which I have on my desk as well. But rather than rolling 1d6 for some tables, you roll multiple d6s and you select it, and you wind up with an option between the minimum, which is how many ever dice you're rolling times 1. Or the maximum, which is between that and the maximum. So for the names table, it is 3d6. I will be rolling for the first name and last name. So that's 5, 8, 9. That's it. So our character today is gonna be called Yana. And let's get the last name. 2, 4, so 6, 7. Yana Batrelli. That sounds to me at least more feminine. So pronouns are gonna be she, her. We're not up to the specialization yet. So the values table and values and disposition table is the same. Well, different words, but the same. This is basically the personality and the lifestyle, effectively. Value being lifestyle, or what they value. Disposition, how they come off, and that sort of thing. So, and this will affect how they're treated within whatever setting we are in. So 6 plus 2 plus 4 equals 6 plus 5, that's 11. She will be focused. And that one landed funnily. Okay, so 3 plus 2 is 5 plus 6, that's another 11. So focused, and she values the thrill. She values thrills, which explains why she's a cartographer. She's living for the thrill of exploration. We're now up to specialization, which is a d6. And this is what affects either the dice we have access to at the start, or in 2 cases, it affects, in 3 different cases. There's one that gives us a random item at the start, which can affect any number of things. There's the doctor specialization, which allows us to be able to take an extra wound before we're done. And basically, you can't, once you hit your wound max, you that is effectively marking the end of your game, and you wrap it up. Or there's the scientist, who gets an extra 4 coin at the start, which can be beneficial, because the coin is basically anything that is just of value and can be used to trade for things like IOUs or stuff like that. So, and this is a d6 table. And that's a 3. So we will be starting with a Yana is a collector. So she will be starting with an item. So Yana Batrelli is items. Always update. That will be able to. I have that note. I will add that, and now that will be visible here. So I will just quickly go add in. So all the way to the end of the book. I have the book open on my desk, the physical one. So where is the items table one here? Didn't realize we were going to be. Wait. See page 52. It says what page I need to be on. Oh, I'm already drawing cards. So, that is much earlier than I expected. But anyways, so deck of cards out of their box. And give them a quick shuffle again. I love Obsidian because I've got the Obsidian app on my phone, which allows me to edit, access the same files here thanks to iCloud. But it also means that I can add information that is different. So, 9 of clubs. So that's a black 9. I start with a tool. When you mark a ruin, gain 1 random item. Oh, that is perfect. I start with a tool of some kind, and it is a tool that gets you more items, and that's perfect for every time I play this, it just everything winds up lining up for whatever character I've made, or whatever, or in the cases where I'm planning on, and where I'm hoping for certain things happen to line up. This is surprisingly beneficial. So let me open this. What sort of tool? When mark a ruin, gain 1 random item. Wait for that to update. There we go. So. And I don't need to keep a tally on items I have, it's wares that I have. And I should probably do that. Create that. And make that altercation on my phone as well. Yana Botrelli's wares always update. Max is currently 5. And you always start with 1. So let's... Wares are just things you can trade away that are of value. So you can trade them away for an amount of coin. So, and we're going back into the book and back towards the start to see, did it go over where is wares first covered? It's covered on page 13. Wares represent the various commodities and goods you may acquire throughout play. You can carry a maximum of 5 wares at any given time, with that being increased by certain items, though some items may give you more space. I need to remember to read completely before I say things. Wares attracted by a numerical value, however you may wish to instead write what you are transporting, such as greyberry wine. See page 80 for inspiration on wares. Wares can be sold at settlements for coin and primarily serve as a way to make money or converse with locals. When you enter a settlement, you determine its ware value, which is how much coin they are willing to pay for your wares. That can be beneficial, and you can't sell items, but collecting items and that will be extremely beneficial. So page 80 is what it said for inspiration for wares. And that's another 3d6, so that's 6 plus 4 plus 3, so that's a total of 13. We're traveling with some kind of animal. So and the table for some reason did not update this or reverted this, so let me just put all these items. There we go. That for some reason reverted, and I need to just quickly move that up. There we go. So we're traveling with some sort of animal. And since this has a max, let's give dot. Let's do numbered dot points. So animal. What sort of animal? Because it wouldn't be one to that grants a benefit. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a ware. It would be an item. Let's see. I'd say perhaps a messenger pigeon or a messenger bird. Messenger bird, just to be able to communicate with people from her home and stuff. Messenger bird. So move those, got this here. That has not altered anything to do with this dice we start with or anything like that. Okay. So, another thing to be aware of. Let's make sure I don't accidentally scroll information off screen. And I'm gonna need to adjust the crop on this. Filters. Crop. Close. More accurately, just stretch that out. There we go. That solves that problem. And there. Okay, so we've got our name, we've got wonderful information got removed. Okay, so nope. Anna Botrali. Her. Specialization collector, which gave the random item. This position was focused. And values the will. So. Don't need that there. That was just to remind me. Let's change this to. Let's add Yana, Petrellis, out the sheet to the top information, and hope that it causes it to stop having issues. But I will also just quickly ensure that certain things do not change and have problems now. Okay. Think that's everything. That we're not quite done. Characteristics. Oh no, next is background first. So, this will be 3d6 rolls. However, it is 1d6. Oh no, one of the tables has 2d6. Has a d6 roll for 2 columns. So, this covers the background and stuff. So the land. I know this. I know I said this is the non-journaling rules and stuff, but that's more for the actual journey and the exploration and stuff. This stuff all is basically like, where has this character come from? Why are they a cartographer? Why are they in this land specifically? So it's important to keep that in mind. So the land I came from was, and this is this is the condition. 3. So the land was dangerous. Yet. And the descriptor. 1. Wild. I decided to leave. I need to remember how to spell leave. Leave. Because next d6. That's a 4. I am looking for someone lost. Someone lost in this new land. Interesting. I wonder who Yana is going to be looking for. But I left behind 3. But I left behind an unresolved problem. Huh. As we journey, we're gonna find out what these can mean and stuff. So I'm just gonna quickly. We haven't encountered any jokers yet, thankfully. Imagine if the first card I pulled had been a joker, that would have been real bad. Jokers are similar to wounds. You get 3 of them and you are done. But wounds, but jokers you can't get rid of. Wounds you can recover from. So, interesting. Okay, now onto characteristics, which is the characteristics which are features and appearance. So, what feature? This is another 3d6. So, 4 plus 2 plus 1, so 6, 7. Calloused bare feet. She likely has done so much traveling that her feet have calloused and stuff. She's a well-seasoned traveler. And our appearance, 6 plus 5, so 11 plus 3, 14. And an antique briefcase. She carries an antique briefcase. Which is likely a collector's item that she found, and ooh, that as I said, sometimes the things just happen to line up, and that one feels like that describes the sort of thing she collects. Antique items that may not appear to have value to others besides historical or personal stories from having been around for so long. So that's gonna be interesting. And now onto the opening scene, which I will I had this somewhere already. I have it in character notes, so now that I have the I have it in a note already made called character names note. I shall rename that to Anna Petrelli's notes and add that to the very bottom here. And actually I may add it to just the where would this fit? I'm gonna add it here. Anna Petrelli's notes. There we go. And now I can add this information over here on my phone without needing to open another note on my computer. Okay, so before getting into the game proper, you may like to know how exactly you came to this new land and what complications you faced in doing so. Roll on the below tables and make a short journal entry answering the prompt and detailing your voyage to this new place. While I'm not keeping a journal, I am going to I do want to know how she came to these new lands. So, my voyage to the new land was by way of well, 1d6 for the mode and then 1d6 for the descriptor. So the mode is, oh no, an accident. Oh boy. And a magical accident. Oh no. That is not good. And I just typed that up the top of there rather than I typed that on using my keyboard for my computer rather than typing on my phone. So my voyage to the new land was by way of magical accident. Oh boy. I realize now that my PNG tube is cutting off information for the opening scene. Well, this is more just for me anyway, so the tags is important for you to be seen though, because that is the trade-off for and way of doing things without the journaling aspect, so and keeping track of reputation and stuff. So I'm just gonna create a separate note for Anna Bertrelli's opening scene. Gonna put that all in a separate note that's just for me. The journey was, let's see, how was the journey other than an accident and magical too? Filled with glorious sights. Something tells me that the form of transport was magical in nature, but there was an accident as they were arriving at their destination. Or there was an accident that required magically getting off of whatever the initial form of transportation was. So, because it was filled with a glorious sight. It's filled with a glorious sights. What filled you with wonder? With awe, actually, is what it says in here. I'll leave that for later. But that is the end of the rolling. The character Yana has officially been completed. Now let's quickly flick to the non-authoring mode so I can get a better understanding of what tags. Okay, so non-authoring mode uses tags and skill tests to resolve situations with uncertain outcomes. If you wish to do away with the writing aspect of Cartograph, follow these rules. Firstly, ignore the journaling aspect of Cartograph. Use the prompt questions to frame a scene instead. You should still draw your map and track resources, however, which I will be doing, and that's why I have items, wares, coin, food, wounds. Wounds can during cartographer creation and throughout the game, your cartographer will acquire tags. Tags are short descriptors that represent a skill, ability, knowledge, or trait your cartographer has. So that would be thrill, focus, collector. I'll quickly add these to quickly add those. Be sure to do this. So thrill. I'll be sure to mark these values. Value. Thrill. Disposition. Focus. And it's just generally a collector. Some people may like collectors, some people may not. Let's get back to reading. Tags are short descriptors that represent a skill, ability, knowledge, or trait your cartographer has. If a tag is relevant to an action your cartographer is taking, the subsequent skill test will be modified accordingly. During character creation, you will define some starting tags to build your cartographer. This will be their value, disposition, specialization, and characteristics. Okay, so callous bare feet is a tag as well as the antique briefcase. That's interesting. I wonder what the antique briefcase could potentially be influence. We'll see though. I think the callous bare feet will make it easier to traverse troublesome terrain and stuff. And antique briefcase, not suitcase. I need to remember that. My brain keeps, there is a difference and my brain keeps forgetting that. You should mark out a space on your character sheet or journal to keep track of your tags. I'm gonna just quickly minimize. Oh. Yeah, because I had the... Yep, that makes sense. Jokers get sucked up into wounds because of sudden ends. Acquiring tags. Throughout play, you will acquire tags in a number of ways. Anytime you gain a wound, consider that wound a tag. If you have a 3 or more reputation, or -3 or less reputation, your name becomes a tag. This represents how the people of this land have heard of you. Reputation is important. It can influence how much you make when you sell things, and what sort of information you could get. So that's definitely good to know. If it makes sense to gain a tag as a result of a skill check, a skill test, that's another way of gaining a tag. Oh, and there's also, anytime you draw a face card as a prompt, consider how the situation may give your cartographer a new skill, trait, or knowledge. Okay, so face cards also. That's good to know. Skill tests. When your cartographer attempts something with an uncertain outcome, you make a skill test. As you play, these situations will most often arise from prompts. If you feel the need to perform a skill test at other parts throughout play, feel free to do so. It should be noted, however, that taking skill tests during the rest phase should never change the mechanical benefit from taking rest actions. This is important for the balance of the game. Generally, you'll be taking skill tests when considering how your cartographer reacts to certain elements of the story introduced by the prompt. Turning the page. Making a skill test. Make a skill test. First, consider what your cartographer is trying to do. Consider what's at stake, and what they stand to gain if they succeed. Then start with a 1/6-sided die. For each tag your cartographer has that would help the situation, grab another die. For each tag that would hinder the situation, remove one die. You can never roll less than one die. If hindering tags wouldn't make you roll no dice, roll one instead. Then roll the dice, compare the highest single value you rolled to the below table to determine the outcome of the test. 6 you succeed, 4 and 5 you succeed but a complication arises. 3 and 2 you fail but the situation changes. 1 you fail and a new complication arises. Oh no. Outcomes. When considering the outcome of a skill test, you should look to the context of the situation to determine what happens. In failing or succeeding a skill test, you gain or lose resources, tags, or wounds. Again, use the context of the situation to inform this. You may wish to roll on the random failure outcomes table on page 85, or the outcome oracle on page 84. Determine what happens if the situation doesn't inform an obvious outcome. No matter the outcome from the skill test, you should still continue play by following the cycle of play, as explained on page 26. And that is where we shall now start. I have that marked for should I need it, and now we shall begin. So, oh wait, no, I haven't. I forgot if there's anything specific, anything unique done on the first roll. So, cycle of play. It goes exploration phase, exploration of phase, arrival phase. It's not journey phase, it's arrival phase. And then the rest phase has different. Rest phase has different potential outcomes depending on if arrival phase. Rest phase has different things that occur depending on whether we journey to a biome or a settlement. So that will come up later. And jokers can be a complete pain. So let me just quickly check. I just accidentally flicked it to the example section by accident. Their character is also the example character's first name is also Yana. I was wondering why that was so easily coming off my tongue and so easy to remember. Okay, so there's nothing unique. We just Actually, wait, where does it say? You usually start at a settlement. That makes sense, because where else would you be starting a journey in a new land from if it isn't, or if it wasn't an already established settlement? So settlements usually occur from landmark dice, which I'm starting with one of, and I start with 3 biome dice as well. So let's also just quickly get critter to the top on that monitor. And one of the dice rolled off the piece of paper, but so I will roll it again. Okay, so how far away is the landmark dice? Landed on a 5. And I'm now currently trying. So let's just locate where that is on the map. I'm using the compass as correlation for this one because where it landed. So one, two, three. The 5 landed here. I will also mark these with specific colors so that I know what it is that I'm which die they are. 5. Biome dice will be green. Something to note about biome dice. If you roll the same number on 2, you can connect them together. You can choose to connect them together. You don't have to, but if they're close enough to where it would make sense to be a stretch of the same biome, then that is what happens. So, oh wait, if I remember correctly. Oh, sweet, I get to decide what sort of settlement 5 on a 5 I get to decide what sort of settlement that is going to be. However, let's see where that 2 is. That 2 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 5. There's a 2 here. 2. There's a 4 here. How high up is this other 4 though? So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. And this 4 is here. So 4's the open land. And 2 is a mountain. Oh, open land doesn't do the doubles thing. It's lakes, mountains. Lakes and mountains can connect it if you roll doubles on them. So, I have got... Open land can be anything like plains, just open desert. Anything that doesn't have much trees. It can have occasional trees, but if you wouldn't describe it as a forest or potentially even an orchard, then that would be considered open lands. So let's get these marked out in black. Landmark dice, you have to put something like a coast or a river, because settlements tend to be near bodies of water. So let's get this. Do I want it to be a city, a town, or an encampment? If this is new land, then I'd say this is going to be something along the lines of a town. Let's just say this is a small town. She was aiming for a city. That is what the accident was. She accidentally wound up at a town instead of a bustling city. She accidentally caught to the wrong magical transportation and got sent to the wrong location. Right to general location, wrong specific location. So let's get this coastline. Just doing this to emulate little waves off the edge. And now it's a small town. How I tend to depict towns and stuff is how I differentiate towns from cities and encampments is towns have actual little buildings, but just maybe one or two to depict them. Cities have numerous buildings and encampments are more tents. So just mark a little town there. So just a couple little houses. And then, so there's a mountain here of some kind, so just the little mountains right here. And over here, these two areas, I'm not going to connect them, even though I could, but they're going to just be open land, so just little hills with little tufts of grass. And now the task is to decide where to travel to. So this is cycle 1 we're on. Just completed the exploration phase. So we're up to the arrival phase. So deciding where to go. The nearest location would be here, an open plains. So it wouldn't take any food. either this I'd be like these two are maybe the same distance, it's just different angles, but I'm gonna say this open plains is closer, this mountain range is just a bit further, and this one's definitely the furthest. So, and since Yana's only starting with one food, the logical choice is to pick here as our first destination. So, just gonna do a little path to there. That is the basic path of where we are going to be traveling. I'm just gonna label these layers on Critter as drawn map roles. Okay, so now that we're up to the arrival phase, choose a location on the map. Done. If not the closest, lose one food. Not the closest, so don't lose any food. Draw a dash line to locations. Skip if it's your first turn. Okay, never mind. We're starting down here. I knew there was something that was supposed to be different for the first time. Okay, so now draw a card. It's a 5 of clubs. I'm not going another skip if it's your first turn, but if this wasn't the first turn, I'd be consulting the journey table. Right now I am going to consult the location table, however, which is the black town because it's 5 of clubs. City, town prompts, black 5. So an individual here is exploiting the townsfolk. What reason for their action do they give? Ooh. So okay, so why? So the question is, so I am given the option of either gaining 3 coin and losing 2 reputation. Not exactly something you want to do early on. Or just gain 3 reputation, which would mean I'd add my name to tag, add Yana's name to tags already, which would be good, because that would be beneficial. However, gold, not necessary. Someone in the town is exploiting, so this individual is likely exploiting workers and stuff, or exploiting a... What sort of town actually? This is a coastal town that's recently been set up. Exploiting early settlers in buying out and trying to sell them land that they're already living on by getting them to sign contracts. Just good old capitalism. So Yana's going to help end its negotiation stuff. So it's negotiation stuff. So look, and she looks official because of her antique briefcase. So she'd help people to. She'd explain to the people that what this individual is doing, or at least she'd try to. So, starting with 1 die, she's a collector, and thus knows what contracts can look like. So I'm gonna say for this it's 2d6 because it's either going she'd either gain benefit from being a collector or from the antique briefcase. I don't think I could justify both. But one, like either the briefcase makes her look like she is an official and thus she can properly explain to the people are more likely to believe her because of it, or she uses her actual experience with contracts and stuff to explain. So yeah, just quickly rolling, and that is a 5 and a 3. So a complication arises, but she succeeds. So she's going to gain 3 reputation with the townspeople. However, she's now made a potential lasting enemy with this this individual who was trying to buy up land and rent it out to the people, even though that's not helping them. So she's made an enemy or a foe. A foe. She's made a foe in a landlord. Landlord is one word, isn't it? Yep. Landlord. However, with her reputation getting to 3, she automatically gets a good reputation with the common folk. Positive reputation with common folk. Common settlers. So, which is definitely beneficial when you're getting into a new land. Getting a good reputation with the locals immediately. That is definitely a good thing to start out with. But need to up that reputation over here to 3. And so that ends. That doesn't quite end. There is one little bit. We need to name this location. Is there a town name table? I forget if there's a name tables and names for towns. It does. Oh wait, no, there's a people table. Oh, okay, so who is this individual that... there's a people table. So, probably should find out. No, it makes sense for him to be a wannabe landlord. Wannabe landlord. Just gonna put that there. And... so... encampment names, not quite. I'm looking for town names. Okay, so... town names table. Let's see. What is the name of this town? 5, 6, plus 4, 10. I'm fairly certain this isn't the east. However, it could be east, and this would just be the inside of a coastline to a larger continent. So we'll see how the coast shapes out. May want to redo that suffix in that prefix later on, but 3, 3, 3, so 9. East mouth. Okay, yeah, this is likely. This is likely a small town called. I need a different brush. This one's too thick. Thought it was gonna be fine. It's not. Oh, that's also too thick. This one. Nope. East. Nope. I don't want to zoom in because... you know what, actually, I know what to do. Let's go with a vector layer. Add in a text layer. Get that down to 14. Put this here. That's probably still too big, but I can shrink it now. East mouth. This is east mouth. 12. Save. Close that. Move that there. This is east mouth. So. Now the arrival phase is completed. On to the rest phase. The rest phase causes the loss of temporary dice and one other remaining die. We only have one landmark die, so I'm only gonna, at least for the time being, biome dice are going to be dropping. So, next cycle, I only will be rolling one. If at a settlement to roll 1d3 to determine where value. I basically divide. I don't have a d3, so I treat 6s as 1s, 5s as 2s, and 4s as 3s. So what is the value of this town? 1. Okay, so the value here is... the value of my messenger bird is a 1. Makes sense, they have access to the postal system on the coast. Okay. And now for the rest of the settlement rest phase actions. So, those are... rest phase actions at settlement. So, I can converse, which would cause me to lose a coin but gain a temporary die. Since I'm at a town, I do gain 2 temporary die. I could sleep to gain a biome die. You may choose to lose 1 food to gain 1 additional biome die. So I could sacrifice the 1 food that I start with. Not wanting to do that. Could just restock and gain a food. Or... no, I'm going to sleep to regain that biome die, so we're still going to be rolling 3. But this way there's going to be options for where to go. So let us conclude the end of the rest. Oh wait, no, I get 2 actions. That's right. The rest phase: lose all temporary die, lose 1 remaining die from your pool. If you're at a settlement, roll a die and halve the result to determine the value of wares at this location. That's pretty much what I did. So, select 2 different actions from the appropriate action list, depending on where your cartographer ends up for the night. Different sets of actions are available. Okay, so it's always going to be 2. And you may lose a coin to take a 3rd action. Not doing that, it's too early to be throwing away money. So, I've regained that biome die to sleep. But... I'm also going to restock. That way we have an additional food. Because we have no way of knowing where that next landmark is, and where any of these die are going to land, and that could be troublesome. So, that's the end of the rest phase for cycle 1. On to cycle 2. And this time, we're going to pick a location to go to. So, well... I may have drawn that coastline too hastily. It seems we have land peeking in on the edge. Because one of the biome dice landed... oh boy. 2 of the biome dice landed fairly close to each other, and the other one is... oh boy. This is interesting. So... back to the simple reference. So, wonderful. This is likely an land lake. Or no, Nope, this is some sort of coastline, because that is the way of the world. Okay, so let me just there walls. Let us see. There is a 1, which is there is a 1 on our landmark die, which is nothing, so, and its location is 1, 2, 3, 4. More. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's this one is right. Nah. I selected blue. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one is right here. But also right nearby it, like real close. So yep, that's the right location. Here is the bottom corner of the 1. And here is a 4, so more open land. This area is looking to be very much just open land. However, oh, same as closest biome. I count the ocean as a biome. Over here is water. Because, we had 1, 2. We had 1, 5 land right here. Right here. And then this other 5 landed right here. So this is all just gonna be water. So let's get... Otherwise we'd be throwing in open land in the middle of what looks to be an ocean. So... yeah. Let's get these marked in. So this is some sort of coastline. Oh, this could just be an entire island, now that I think about it. Because there's no coast... if there's nothing on this coastline and stuff, and there's a coastline here and here, and over here is just water. Water. Wonderful, wonderful water. And here, more open land. Okay, so now to pick a location to go to. I'd say... actually, the mountains might be a good place to start, because it's... we're looking for someone, and mountains is a place that people can often go missing. So going up there to and seeing if the person Yana is looking for is up there, that would be of benefit. And we have a food to spare now because we got to restock. So gonna expend that food and Make a path. Right now it's going to just be a straight line. However, if we find that there's more reasons to be heading in this direction, we can later alter it to be where the path heads this way and then curves up to there when we're finalizing every detail of the map. Okay, so that is the start of the arrival phase that I've just done there. So, draw a dashed line. Now draw a card. Let's see what this fate... It's a face card. It's the Queen of Diamonds. This is gonna be interesting. Consult the journey table. So let's see what the journey entails for us with this. Journey table. Oh, and this doesn't care about colors, so just that it's a queen. Your journey revealed information about a point of interest. How did you learn about this? Okay. Mark one discovery anywhere. Oh. Oh boy. Discoveries are what would be a 6 for a landmark, but they're usually marked as question marks when you're actually inking them. But this is a point of interest about the person that we're seeking. So, we may have found out where they may have gone if they aren't still at the mountains. So, like a location we came across someone on the road where that happened to have encountered this individual that we're seeking. And they mentioned that they had discussed journey plans and that no, Yana hired a Sherpa or something of the likes to find out where, and she happened to get the same Sherpa that her friend who went to these mountains was, and it wasn't until getting to the mountains that they stopped to rest for the evening, and the conversation there led to finding out that Yana's friend, or whoever this person may be, had gone to these mountains but had been planning on going somewhere else afterwards. So that is likely what was discovered. That does not mean that there isn't anything worth collecting at these mountains though. So let us put this discovery somewhere that is likely not to get coastlined or oceaned. Let's put this here. There's some sort of information here. What it is? Who knows? But there's something in that area that had the person we're seeking's attention. We'll need more information about that area before we go there though. So let us see. Let us see which table. It's not the journey table, it's the location table. We are going to mountains, which means not lake. Here it is. Black, and we're looking for the red mountain because this is the Queen of Diamonds. Verdant and lush. Flora has all but consumed these crags. How does this region of landscape differ? What foreign plants do you find here? Gain 1 food. With a asterisk. I forget what the asterisk means. Oh boy. Okay, so because there is something that the asterisk means. Forget what it means though. Okay. Actually, wait. I feel like that's related to. Okay. If you wish. What does the asterisk mean in this book again? I forget what it means. It's explained early on, I believe. What is Cartograph? Nope. What does the asterisk mean? Does it mean that the food's dangerous? Or potentially dangerous? What does it mean? I forget what it means. I'll have to look that up later, but there is food asterisk. Okay, so that's +1 asterisk. Oh boy, that is. Let's just mark that food as questionable. Okay, so good to know. Oh, let's actually just see. Does collecting any of the flora here actually... Are we successful at that? Because that is likely something. So, being a collector, that would be a 2 die roll. However... And we're well traveled. But... Let's just roll 2. Oh. Okay, thankfully we take it, thankfully we're taking the higher of the 2, otherwise a new complication arises. We find food. The food is... Ooh. The food is potentially exotic. And thus, we don't know how to cook it. We just find it interesting and it's something we wanted to collect. So, that is the complication that arises, because the highest of those 2 die rolls was a 4. That is definitely going to be... we learn that it has to be cooked in a certain way, but the person, our Sherpa, doesn't know what that way is. So they tend to avoid this food. Let's find out what this food is before. Because there is a food table. This also does mean that this is... Okay, so we get a descriptor and a behavior. So the descriptor is... Oh, it's a fungus of some kind. So yeah, it definitely needs to be cooked in a specific way. And it's vibrant in color. it definitely needs to be cooked in a certain way, otherwise it is going to be dangerous and we will likely gain a wound if we eat it. So, I will find out what the asterisk means, but... Ooh. That is good to know! Or, ooh. Or it is extremely... It has a strong aroma. So... Oh, that's what I did. Whoops. Got rid of the extra into above. I did something. I don't know what I did. Whoops. One moment. Filters. You. Close. There we go. That's fixed. At least for now. Anyways, so we have a vibrant fungus with us. That potentially potentially attracts wildlife. Let's see what the rest phase actions are for biomes. And in the wilderness, you can camp, you lose a food but gain a biome die. You can converse, which causes you to lose a whale or a coin and gain a temporary die. Or hunt, roll a die and gain that much food, lose one die of your choice. And we're in the rest phase, which means already losing one die. We haven't got die to spare. So, we're gonna eat the one safe food we know we have. To regain that biome die. And we're going to give a coin to our Sherpa to gain a temporary die by having a conversation. And this, ooh, I want to say that temporary die, no matter what it rolls, is going to relate to the discovery that we found out from our Sherpa on the way here. So, because that could be a landmark, it could be a biome, we don't know, but having a temporary die in the pool means that it is going to be one of the few times where no matter where it's rolled, that die is going to relate to this area right here. Okay, so that is the end of cycle 2. Cycle 3, exploration phase. We rested, we camped, we conversed. Let's find out what else there is on this map. Oh, gonna say that's there. Oh boy. Huh. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have got... Oh, wait, we forgot to name the mountain. I will name the mountain. I will name the mountain once I've got these marked out, so I don't forget these. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a 3. There's a 3 here. And then for the biome dice... Oh wait, for here. For our temporary die. Temporary die, you get to decide whether they're a landmark die or a biome die. So what does a 4 get us for either of those? So, ooh, this friend went to the city we were initially trying to get to, because that wound up being, that is what the landmark dive would be. Otherwise, it would just be more open land, which would not be surprising. But there being a discovery here, there's potentially a city here. So, let's mark that as a golden 4. And then for the biomes that are definite locations, we have a 5 up in this corner, which is going to be same as closest biome. Current closest biome is mountain, so there's likely more mountains up there. There is a 6. How close is that? So 6 is right here. And that would be same as closest biome as well, which is the closest biome is ocean. Because anyways, and then up here is same as closest biome as well. And that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The closest biome to this is open land, so this is also 6. However, the closest biome currently is open land, and thus the open land stretches further up. Okay, so let's get these drawn out. Just more hills, more grass, maybe a lone tree. Nah. That looks strange, just having a lone tree there. That looks like it would be a point of interest. So, there. Your closest biome is... I'd say your closest biome is definitely mountains, so there's likely a mountain range up here. I thought I said that to erase. Erase! There. So, that's a mountain range. And this is more ocean. Actually, yeah, that's more ocean. And then here, 3 is... that's another town. So, there's another little town out over here. I'd say that coastline that we're seeing form seems to be... this is a slither of a larger continent up this way. Like, the coast is likely gonna curve into that direction. May curve around all the way around here. This may have been around a lake or something. We don't know yet. Because it's still some sort of civilization, but there's definitely a water source here. So let's say just a little bit of coastline. And this would be what would have been a city, at least. We don't know what has become of that. That might be why we accidentally wound up at the town, because the city no longer exists. That could be ruined. That could also mean we get an item when we land there. So... but right now, we have this. Just a couple houses. To mark that this is a town. And then this is just gonna do thin. Ooh, actually, let's be a bit more generous with this. Let's say, what if this was some sort of castle, kingdom? Like, this is the earliest settlement it's had time to build up, and it's got walls. So, just draw a small castle potentially here. But getting more information about that location, definitely beneficial. So, that's going to be what we do for that one, for the time being. And now let's name the mountains. Let's not forget to name the mountains. So, local hunting, rest tables, people tables, region tables, city tables. Forest name, mountain names. Okay, so this is gonna be 3d6 for the prefix. So that's a 7 plus 3, so that's another 10. Wind. Let's come up here. Let's go 12. Wind. That's the prefix. So let's see what the suffix is. So that's 6 plus 4, 10 plus 5, 15. Windrise. Ooh. Something about the plant life and the stuff on this on the side of the mountain that we're on causes there to be very strong upwards flowing winds. I'd say there's potentially a waterfall that goes upwards because of some sort of interesting phenomenon that has allowed for the plant life to be so lush there. And it's gotten the name Windrise for some sort of upwards draft. That will be interesting to find out more on, to see if there are any rivers actually get on this map, because I'm beginning to contemplate removing the grass from the open lands, because this is beginning to look like a potential desert to the rest of the east. So, the actual east, rather than east mouth, like perhaps there's a west mouth on the other side of whatever body of water this is. But I think I may want to rename that town at some point. So, now, return dice to pool. So, all of those collect up. We are now in the arrival phase. Let's choose a location on the map to journey to. I don't wish to use the questionable mushroom, questionable fungus, for just making sure, for anything yet. So let's bid farewell to our Sherpa. He'll likely go back down the path we came. But let's head to this open land here and see what's going on in the direction that our friend likely went. If this winds up being desert, the person we're looking for likely died in it. So, now, draw on the dashed line. Draw the card. That is a Jack of clubs. No, Jack of spades. Oh wait, and also face cards are supposed to give us tags. Let's say socialite or social butterfly. Social butterfly. Good at conversing and all that sort of thing. But let's see what the situation for the journey phase is with this Jack. So, journey table. This Jack. During your travels, you witness something dreadful. What scared you about the encounter? Oh no. Lose 1 reputation. So we're gonna lose this tag, because our reputation is now down at 2. Which also means that for us to lose a reputation on a journey upon seeing something dreadful, we likely came across sacred burial grounds and did not know it. Like the natives. Oh boy. We likely stumbled across native burial grounds in this area. And since it's a face card, that means we also gain a tag from it. The natives are now wary. I prefer. I enjoy both sides of it because when it comes to it, it's like you find out the story of who it is that's made this map and what they've gone through as they made it. So it's kind of world building and creating a specific person throughout all of this as well. So it's a bit of both. I enjoy playing. It's just I enjoy playing, but I also enjoy the world building and getting an insight into this area of the world that this individual is going through and building the world around what they discover. It's a bit give and take. So, yeah. Sorry it took me so long to see your message. I was a bit in my head trying to figure things out. So, oh boy, that's unfortunate. So, what should I name this though? What should I name the tag? Should it be? It's likely going to be unintentional desecrator. Unintentional desecrator. Desecrator. Accidentally desecrated the native sacred burial grounds, and they got upset as Yana quickly made it through on not having meant to cause any harm. Yeah, that's likely just gonna be it. Okay, now let's find out what this Jack of Clubs gets us for open land. Black open land with a jack. A melody is carried across the air. Oh, a melody is carried in the air across a grassland. What natural phenomena has produced this sound? Oh, interesting. So this is definitely grassland. That prevents it from being desert this time. My last game I've ever played of this, I kept getting open land and I was like, there's no way this could be desert. And then my characters started getting wounds that happened to correspond with heat stroke. And I was like, there was no way this isn't desert anymore. So, that was fun. Anyways, so, what natural phenomena produces the sound? Ooh. Let's see what the name of this open land. Let's see what we get for it. So, the prefix is 14. So, vivid, once again. Let's rest this here as I open up the text tool again. This is vivid. Vivid what? Let's do this next tool for the suffix. 10, 12. Oh. It's a vivid swamp. This isn't so much grassland as... Actually, I'm going to veto that suffix roll because I just read up. I read through all the suffixes just real quick. Vivid hills or potentially vivid meadows. Because I'd say meadows are open land as well. Vast open fields of flowers vividly. I'd hazard a guess that these two at least were connected and that this is very vastly meadow area, but yeah. Likely a lot of flowers in this area as well. I'm going to need to go hunting in this next rest phase though, cause technically I'm losing 2 dice, cause temporary die always drop down to 0. Oh, not exploration, a rest phase. And then that drops down to 2. I'm not wanting to lose a landmark die because they're so hard to come by. And the only way you finish it without dying is by connecting a coastline from one side of the map to another, whether that be across areas like here, like these two sides, or up and down. So I need a landmark, otherwise I'd be primarily trying to get temporary dice every single rest. So got into the rest phase. We've named it the land open meadows. No, not open meadows, vivid meadows. I just realized another reason it could be vivid is because they're hallucinogenic pollen. Oh no! This could be a bad location. Ooh. Okay, so hopefully when leaving we don't get any wounds, otherwise that's likely hallucinogenic pollen. Okay, so rest phase actions. We're not at a settlement still, so... And we're going to go hunt. Because we have no food, and there isn't really anyone to converse with. And even if there was, we only have our messenger bird to converse. Gain a temporary die. So, let's see. Let's hunt. Roll a die to gain a food. Lose 1 die of your choice. I'm going hunting. Or foraging, whichever one. Let's go to page 82 to determine what it is. So, on a 1 to 3, it's foraging again. On a 4 to 6, we're hunting food. We're hunting meats. That's a 5, so we're hunting a meat of some kind, so... Let us see. This is... We are hunting... What we are hunting is a... evasive... winged... We're hunting some sort of bird. An evasive bird. Or something with wings. And we lose another die, so I'm dropping biome down to 1 since we'll take an action and then upping it to 2 again, because we will use that. And now let's roll a die to see how much food we get from hunting. Ooh, this could be a griffin or some other small. Or, no, I wouldn't go griffin. Griffins are not so much evasive as they are predatory. So, what sort of bird or winged creature? Let's see how much food we get from it first. That's a 6. Okay, that's... Oh, thank goodness. That's 6. 6 food plus our questionable mushroom. So 6 food plus our questionable mushroom. And one of that is getting used, so that's only going to be 5 food. 5 food, and we gained the dice that I've already marked as we gained. Oh. What sort of bird would it be? It would be something that would give 5 days worth of, 6 days worth of food. Oh. I'll think on that. I can't think. It's some sort of avian or some sort of winged beast. So, need to remember that. But, so glad that we got food and got that much food. We're not gonna need to hunt for a while, thankfully. Okay, so, now that stress is off the plate, and I've taken the 2 actions up to cycle 4. On to the exploration phase. So, temporary dice, you're gone. We're down to 2 biome dice and a landmark. Let's see where these land, and hopefully they're good spots. Okay. Ooh. Ooh. Hang on. I need to double check to make sure landmark dice always provide coastlines. Otherwise, I feel like I've been making a mistake if that's the case. Mark settlements on your map. Okay, game end. Your cartographer must take a wound and has no slots. Okay, so if I was to take a 4th wound right now, if I had 3 wounds and I took a 4th one, that would be the end. Okay. So Joker or run out of dice. That is the negative outcomes. Completing a coastline is one of the ways that things end, or fully enclose an island. There is, with where this one landed, there is the potential that this is a stretch of archipelago. Let's see where this... Okay, so... Like, this might be a collection of close together islands. Let's calculate where this 3 landed as a landmark first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, yep. We got a 3 here as the landmark, which likely means this is a collection of islands, because that's another town. Town. Okay, so there's a town here, and this is likely separated by a bit of ocean. Let's see, where is that? One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, there's a lake right here. There's a lake there. And then that 5, 7, 8, 9, 1, 2. 7, 8, 9, 1, 2. There's a 5 right here. And 5s are closest biome. There's likely something that happened that caused the land to break apart here. Because... Okay, let's mark in what this is. So there's a small town here. And there's a coastline here. This likely curves around to this one and connects in some way. But that means that there's likely coastline here that separates the two, which might mean this is on a separate piece of land, as a separate island as well, and this is greatly broken. So let's just do that for the moment. So getting across here is likely gonna require swimming or a boat. So I no longer glad we got extra food, because it means that we can risk going here with a little information. However, 5, same as closest biome. Its closest biome is more grassland or meadows. Three here is just a lake. Let's get rid of that there, because the 3 didn't land on that. However, it did land there, so that likely curves down, or we'll see how the coastline continues to shape out, and we'll find it when we get to it. Do I risk going to the city, or do I risk swimming across the ocean? A small ocean, but it's still an ocean nonetheless. So, is that everything marked out? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Yep, that's everything. Having less dice definitely speeds that up, which means we're now on to the arrival phase. Need to pick a destination. Let's head down to the city. It's not the closest we'll expend, so we'll have to expend the food. Doesn't matter. Let's find out what's at this discovery. So, that's 4 food. Plus a questionable mushroom. And now we draw the card. 9 of diamonds. Let's see what the journey table has in store for us this time. A 9. This would be great if we had sustained a wound, but anyways, your travel was blessed by a rare event. What did you witness? And then the benefits, it would be heal 1 wound, but since no wounds have been sustained. Okay, so. Your travel was blessed by a rare event. Something like the Aurora Borealis over the night sky as we travel through this area. Something along those lines happened to correspond with the time of year and this specific night. Something along those lines is what I'm thinking. Just that. That's the event that we had. We don't get any of its benefits, but that's okay. Our spirits are lifted. We're potentially about to find and reunite with the person who got lost in these lands. They may still, or we're at the very least going to get a lead on where they are. So. Onto the city. Because this is a city. City name first. Oh, wait. No, you gotta see what the outcomes of this location is first. Land, mountain. Discovery, actually. We need to do the discovery first. Red 9. Well, this is wonderful. Wish it had been the other way around. Because, a near impossible structure amongst the countryside. What makes the structure so impossible and strange? Well, people will protect it. Gain 1 landmark die. So that's good. However, gain 1 wound. Okay, let's go to the wounds table and find out what we're getting. Okay, so. It's 3 dice. Okay, use this table and the narrative context to give inspiration for a wound your cartographer suffers. There is no mechanical difference between minor and major wounds. Simply select from the list that makes sense for your narrative. 5, 10, 16. Ah. We take a tumble and I know why. We decided to try eating the mushroom on the journey here. That magical event we saw was us tripping from the mushroom because we didn't cook it properly, and as we were approaching it, this incredible naturally carved city or naturally carved city, like it's just a massive cave network in a mountains sort of place, in a cliff face even. Yeah, this is a cliff face. There's a city that people have set up within the cave networks of the very structurally sound city, and we took a tumble, and a tumble on some rocks, fell, and we either grazed our elbows or broke a rib. So, which is it gonna be? I have a D2 here. Sparkly side up, it's a major wound, and we've fractured a rib. Or darker side up, it's going to be minor wound, and we only grazed our elbow when we took that tumble. Okay, we only grazed our elbow. So let's just quickly mark that. Wound. Grazed. Elbow. And that's added to the list of wounds we could have without ending things. Early. Grazed. Elbow. Let's see. But we get to the city, which this is it under. So, let's see what the city has in store for us. So. Oh no. Oh no. Why? A garish stadium sits in the center of this outlandish city. What games are played in the arena? Gain 1 wound and 2 coin, or lose 1 reputation. I am willing to take a hit to reputation so long as we don't... so long as we're not just quickly equating. Down to 1 reputation. That's fine. I'd rather not rapidly gain wounds, because that is bad. So, let's quickly make corrections to this markings on our map. Because this is no longer just a city, just a discovery city. This is a naturally formed city. So, let's just quickly get rid of that. This is still this is a cliff face though. So let's get this. There are buildings up on top. There's a stadium of some sort here. Some sort of something for what I can only assume is gladiatorial fights. But there are buildings. Very many buildings. Quite large buildings. Some with multiple stories. And chimneys. But yes, this is well and truly a city on a cliff face with a much underground. Oh boy. Okay, so we're here, we can rest. We decided to try cooking a mushroom that was an awful mistake. However, it could have been worse. We nearly bruised our ribs because we tripped. No, not bruised our ribs. We grazed our elbow because we tripped and fell. Tripped in both senses. But let's go and check the rest phase for settlement. Let's lose that biome die that we would have. This is a city, so we can't gain two temporary die from here. However, when we sleep, we can choose to gain 2 biome die. So we are going to sleep. We're going to lose an actual food. And we regain 2 biome dice. So that goes up to 3. What else can we do here? Oh yes, there's also rolling to see how much wares are here. And that is... Let me just double check. Where is wares? Okay, just double checking. Wares can be sold a coin and primarily serve as when you enter a settlement, you determine its where value, which is how much. Which is how much. Coin they are willing to sell for. So, rest phase. I have forgotten how to calculate the wares. Where's? Roll a die and halve the result to determine the value of wares at this location. Okay, so I rolled a 4, so that's 2. Wares are worth 2 coin here. And right now, I'm not needing to send a message back anywhere, so goodbye, messenger bird. You will be missed. But we need the coin. So selling. That's tags. Nope. Where's it here? Messenger bird is gone. They likely said some pretty strange things while we were tripping. That's probably what the messenger bird had. That means we go up to 2 coin, which can be beneficial when traveling. Okay, so Yep. Indeed. We tripped, we fell, and I think once I finish this rest phase by naming this city, which I just remembered I haven't named yet, I think I'll end stream here for today. Lose all temporary die, already done that, lost the 1 die. Yeah, that's it. There, and then gained it back here, plus an additional one because we slept and used food. And yeah, okay, so once I've named this city, that I shall conclude stream. So I've closed the book and I'm forgetting that the names table's in here. Hunting table, where's table, currency table, pool, encampment. Nope, here's city names. Okay, so this city is called 5, 10, 12 Yilon. It's actually you. Yalon. And the suffix 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yalon Hill. That is an interesting name. Since it's a city, I've decided to bold it. Plus, that also helps determine where it is. We named the city. Yep. So, yell on this hill. Yep. Okay, so I think that's going to conclude game. That's going to conclude for today, and for this week's stream, because I am definitely forgetting rules. Starting to forget things that are important for the cycle, and thus I need to rest. So, thank you for watching stream. Yes, haha. But it's time to end stream. I don't think there's any other cartograph streams out there. Let's see though. Let's just see. Cartograph. Let's search. Wait. Cartograph. Nope. There's no one to raid, so stream is just gonna end. Oh boy. And yeah. So I hope everyone had a good time. See you next week, where we will continue looking for Yana's friend. And we may encounter the landlord again. Who knows? We'll see where things go with everything that's going on. So I need to remember to mark it. We have 2 landmark dice. 2. Almost forgot to mark that. So we will be starting next week's session in an exploration phase. We'll see. We'll see whether we can find whoever it. In between, I will do some rolls and stuff to find out who it is that Yana is looking for. The name of the landlord that she saved a bunch of people from falling under his thumb and needing to pay him for absolutely no reason. And will we ever find out whether we stopped tripping on those mushrooms? Anyways, see you next week. I will be streaming art on the regular time on Tuesday, and I will return with this on the Thursday. So, see ya.